I think that you're looking at probably an industry going to $15-20 trillion, because what this does is it establishes really the foundation for all the exciting things that we've dreamed of. Tokenized public securities, 24/7 markets. If you want to access U.S. capital markets, you're going to have to use a dollar-backed stable. And this is what positions the United States to be the global leader.
And as President Trump has directed, we are going to keep the U.S. the dominant reserve currency in the world, and we will use stable coins to do that.
Who knows, maybe we'll pay off our $35 trillion, hand him a little crypto check, right? We'll hand him a little Bitcoin and wipe out our $35 trillion.
You announce your pick for successor to Jay Powell earlier than say, or as early as say this summer or this fall.
Will I do something about who it's going to be?
Yes.
I don't know. Hey, he'd be a good candidate. You might do. She'd be a good candidate, too. Anybody would be better than Jay Powell. No, he's causing us a fortune because he keeps the rate way up. I think it's Trump derangement syndrome personally, but we have a very strong country. We're the strongest country. Look, our country right now is at a level that we haven't seen for 40, 50 years. What we're doing now is nobody's seen anything like it. I told you, I was in the Middle East. The King of Saudi Arabia said to me very strongly, he said, you know what? A year ago you had a dead country. Now you have the hottest country in the world.
The idea, at least in the short term, of relying a little bit more on shorter term Treasury issuance. Do you anticipate that will continue?
Well, I think what we're going to see is one of the underreported things of the One Big Beautiful Bill is it also gets us away from this terrible debt ceiling dilemma. And because of that, we've had to constrain issuance. So it's likely that initially we will use bills to refill the Treasury general account.
Back at record highs, does it make sense?
Markets move on what's not priced in. And what was not priced in this morning was a better than expected jobs report. So I think given that upside surprise on the labor market and relief that the economy is holding in there, yes, it makes absolute sense that the market's higher today. But I do think it's important, if you go under the hood of the jobs report, it's not as good as the headline. We only saw 74,000 private sector jobs. That's the slowest job growth so far this year, and less than half of the industries in the report had job growth. So if you look at the cyclical part of the economy, the labor market is continuing to slow. Yes, it takes it off the table. I would be absolutely stunned to see a July rate cut. I don't see any evidence that it would be required. And I think even September is a big question mark. But yes, it is good news. The fact that the labor market is moderating, but not faster than expected, not as much as feared, that is good news. Because as long as consumers have incomes, they can keep spending. And if they keep spending, companies have revenues, and the stock market likes that. Watch as we go forward. So, we're talking about jobs. The other big news today, obviously, is the fiscal package that isn't passed yet, but I think we can safely assume it's going to get passed soon. And within that, you do see some benefits, social safety net taken away from the lower income households in the United States. Now, the timing is interesting. Politicians keep an eye on elections, and for example, the Medicaid working requirements based on the Senate bill don't kick in till after the midterm. So they're trying to make sure that this cohort of voters is okay economically through the midterm. But even if they have that pushed out a little bit, there's still some social safety net features like SNAP, food assistance, that could in theory go away this year. Then you have the younger cohort. They're going to be getting hit as they have student loans to pay again, and they're having a harder time finding jobs. So even though today feels good, great job numbers, better than expected, I still think we're going to have a significantly slower economy in the second half of this.
There are two major problems I have with the bill. One that Larry Summers and Bob Rubin pointed out. This bill is going to add $4 trillion to the national debt, and it's going to take deficits to 8% of GDP, almost unprecedented in peacetime when there's no external shock like COVID or the Great Recession. And the second is the distribution. I mean, even Bush's tax cuts and Trump's tax cuts helped everyone. They disproportionately helped the rich, but they gave a break to everyone. These tax breaks actually make poorer working class Americans poorer while giving the rich tax breaks. They take away Medicaid, they take away food assistance, and that's pretty unprecedented in modern history.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And you know I come back with that video just to make you think.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And make sure you join the Patreons. If you're not a part of the Patreons, make sure you're hitting the Cash App. Also, go like and follow the TikTok. More videos to come. And you have the big, beautiful bill signed on July 4th. And that's going to mark the rise of the machines and the fall of humanity's independence. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, the machines get to take over the economy. Now we have Bohan as the crypto industry is going to 15 to 20 trillion. And yes, it's going to be way more than that. Once they get everything tokenized, remember the whole global economy is going to be tokenized and put on blockchain. Your life is going to be a video game. Nothing is going to be real. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And we have Trump on Jerome Powell again. Anybody can replace him. Playing the Hegelian dialectic, because the fact is, Jerome Powell gets to ride off in the sun while America is going to take a beating. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And we have Scott Bessent on the debt ceiling being raised. And these stable coins they can mint out of thin air. Trillions of dollars they can take and buy treasuries. And don't forget, Trump's job is to devalue this debt so they can get the debt down. Do not forget that. Even though it's going to be $4 trillion on this balance sheet, they're going to get this dollar to 50 cents or less. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. Now we have Rebecca Patterson. Once again, don't forget she's from the Council of Foreign Relations and then also former Bridgewater. But she says she doesn't expect the Fed to cut, and we're going to be pulling back at the second half of this year. And again, guys, don't forget we have to refinance $10 trillion, and there were a bunch of layoffs already scheduled at the end of the year. Yes, we get this big, beautiful bill, but it's only going to support certain stocks. But we always get some type of event where it'll be a distraction in order to get us pulled back. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And she brings up midterms, and the Democrats are definitely going to blame all these layoffs and the rise of the machines on the Republicans. We already see how they're going to play the Hegelian dialectic once we get to midterms, because there's going to be plenty. 2026, there's going to be plenty of layoffs, and you're going to see a whole bunch of automation. And we have Trump's big, beautiful bill putting a whipping on the poor and the middle class. Remember, they want to hollow out the middle class in order for this digital economy to rise. And when it comes to the poor, they already have these stable coins ready for the free money. They already did the test during the C word, give people free money, let them sit at home. But the fact is now, this time, they'll have programmable money, and then also the metaverse. They'll have plenty of activities to do sitting from the couch. And remember, the crypto teacher told you. And when it comes to this jobs report, over half of these jobs created were government jobs. And a lot of them came from where? That's right, mental health care. Guys, you can't make this stuff up. Now we have the mainstream media pushing the hacks. Hacks from Iran, hacks from China. We know the big one is coming. Y'all know how I feel about hacks. But all they need is that one crisis in order to bring in the fourth industrial revolution, where the robots, algorithms, and drones take the economy over, pay each other with crypto, and the sheep go inside the metaverse. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the NWO, it's all planned out. You have a wonderful day.
Is where those jobs were created.
Well, a lot of the jobs were created by state and local government. And again, in my previous life, part of my job, part of my team's job was to take apart the economic data. And I can tell you, any 1 month is very noisy. I thought overall it was a good number, but a lot of the numbers like this can depend on when were teachers hired? When did they come off the payrolls? So, but I would say the overall trend is good. But what I'm really focused on is once the president signs the one big beautiful bill tomorrow, the acceleration that I think we're going to see right out of the gate here in terms of the private sector. When I go around the country or CEOs come into Treasury to see me, they've all been held captive by a lack of certainty on this tax bill. And now that they know that they can have 100% full expensing on equipment and for factories, I think we are going to see things take off between now and Labor Day.
Do you make anything of Iran? Iran-linked hacking groups say they've got they're threatening to leak emails, 100 million, whatever it is, emails of Trump aides. Does that make any? Is that count?
Well, it'll have a headline or two for a day or two. I mean, titillating. Maybe a few people will be embarrassed about what they said about each other. But come on, President Trump has been through this with the Russian hacking scandal. You know, the Steele dossier. He knows a fake news when he sees it. He'll probably think a lot better of those people if their emails are leaked. As far as Iran, if this is all Iran's got left after the 12-day war, after the bombing, after all the Houthis and the Tutsis and this, if that's all Iran's got left, they're really a dead duck walking.
Into our systems, they just recently hacked into the telecom sector, and it was pretty substantial. Is this a regular thing that happens every day?
Maria, let me tell you, what keeps me up at night is China. It's not Russia, it's not Iran, it's not North Korea, it's China. They are ruthless at what they do. They go after our critical infrastructure, military preparedness. They steal our intellectual property. They have no concern whatsoever about the United States when it comes to cyber fronts. They're doing it all the time, and we really don't have an answer for that. Yes, we do hack back. Yes, we do intelligence gathering, but we don't have the same types of essentially unleashed capabilities that China does on behalf of the government to steal intellectual property and boost their own. They're really rough. They're not slowing down, and it's only going to continue to grow.
Yeah, which is why I would have liked to see the Democrats focus on communist China and their impact on our telecom systems and the hacking rather than coming up with this lie about Russia and President Trump. That would have been the responsible move. But here we are. Now the FBI is warning of a notorious hacking group called Scattered Spider. It is now actively targeting the airline industry ahead of the July 4th travel weekend. Australian airline Qantas was hacked on Monday, exposing 6 million customers' personal information. Scattered Spider suspected of being behind it. The FBI writing, quote, "Once inside, Scattered Spider actors steal sensitive data for extortion and often deploy ransomware. The FBI is actively working with aviation and industry partners to address this activity and assist victims." Now, the group is known for its ability to carry out large-scale ransomware attacks on high-profile corporations, including the MGM Resorts hack. Joining me now is former NSA hacker and trusted SEC founder and CEO, David Kennedy. David, thanks so much for being here. How worried should we be about this?
Well, Maria, what Scattered Spider ends up doing is finding an industry vertical like we saw last year with, the hospitality industry, most specifically casinos, and finding groups that don't necessarily have really good security. Airliners have been notoriously pretty rough with security in the past because they have to stay operational pretty much 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So a lot of their systems are out of date. It's much easier to hack. And especially with this specific group, largely believed to be, young teens out of the UK and US, are using social engineering as a main method. It becomes very difficult for these types of airlines to protect against these types of attacks. So they're very effective at what they do. And they go after these industry verticals that have these soft underbellies. And so we should be concerned, especially around the holiday timeframes. Over 72 million people are going to be traveling over the holiday weekend for 4th of July. Something that we're going to be taking a look at to see if any of the airlines are actually impacted.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, And then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
But every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of art, every private business, every piece of real estate will eventually be a token on a blockchain, an entry on a ledger, permanent and immutable. We will have truth instead of trust, and we will save over $7 trillion a year. 6 to 8% of global GDP is wasted by the friction of the trust industry that's necessary when you have dual entry accounting. With triple entry accounting, which is what a blockchain is, we get rid of all of that friction. It's a beautiful future.
Like what you see in China and their social credit scoring systems, right? If we get identity wrong, it could be a tool to enslave humanity. And if we get it right, it could be a tool to liberate humanity. And as an American, I'm obviously rooting for the one that's on the side of freedom.
Bitcoin is an international asset. And also, I do believe the role of crypto is, it's digitizing gold.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of a huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we could have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement. And think about it, it changes the whole ecosystem.
Chinese bank ICBC has been hit by a ransomware attack, and the U.S. Treasury market, as a result of that, has been disrupted. This, according to the Financial Times. We're getting it more right now with Bloomberg's Shonali Bassick. Shonali, what do we know?
Listen, we have the Financial Times now reporting that ICBC, one of China's largest banks here, was hit with a ransomware attack. And remember, they're a very significant intermediary in the Treasury market. The SIFMA has told its members that this has been part of the reason here that the system is kind of clogged up, if you will, during that auction that we saw a little bit before. The attack had prevented ICBC, according to the Financial Times, from settling Treasury trades on behalf of other market participants. A large executive at a major bank also telling the paper that such a large party on the fixed income clearing corp creates major concerns, potentially impacting the liquidity of Treasury markets. Now,
it was not just a poor auction. It was absolutely lousy, and when the dealers have to step in to save a treasury auction, that's a rare occurrence. And
Cryptoteacher and the new World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing, they were still getting that free money. What are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID-33. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.